Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Tirso and I'm a creative director based in New York City. My main goal in this channel is to teach you foundational graphic design, which is essentially what you would learn if you went to design school. Typography Anatomy is essentially every graphic designer's first day in typography class. It's not the most exciting thing to learn, but for some of you, it could be. My take is that learning these type principles changes how you approach design in your type, which opens up opportunities in design, which opens up more opportunities for you. I created a cheat sheet for you, which you can download in the description below. This is my guide to the anatomy of letters. Since Jonathan Heffler posted a couple years ago to stop using the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, I opted for a different pangram. Pack my box with 5 dozen liquor jugs. It's kind of ironic because I don't really drink except for the Honey Deuce at the US Open. We're just going to go through all of the terms and then I'll go over them in context so you can see how they apply in design. First, we have serifs and sans serifs. A serif's letter has decorative ends and a sans serif does not. Easy. There are 3 imaginary lines within letters. The baseline is where the letters sit on. We have our cap height, which is the height from the baseline to the top of a capital letter. We also have the X height. As the name suggests, it's the height of the baseline to the top of the letter X. Ascenders are the parts of letters that go above the X height. Conversely, descenders are the letters that go down and extend below the baseline. On the letters I and J, the dot is called a tittle, probably because it looks like it. In the letter T, we have a crossbar. This can also be found on the letter F as well as an A. While we have the letter T, the tail end is called a terminal. This section on the letter H is a shoulder because it looks like your shoulder. In the word 5, you can see that the F and the I are actually combined. These are called ligatures, which is when 2 letters are connected to form one character. The vertical section of a letter is called the stem, which you can see on the D here. The round part that is connected to the stem is called a bowl. A counter is an enclosed space in a letter, which you can see in the O and also the D. When the space is partially closed, it's considered an open counter. When you have an E, it's called an I, apparently. Also on the O, we can see what is called an axis, which is the tilt of a letter. The part of the R that extends from the stem is called an arm. On the G, the part that extends from the bowl is called an ear. The bottom part of the G is called the loop. And last but not least, we have this curved section on the S called a spine. Now that you've learned the different parts of letters, let's put them in the context of design. I'm going to start with the axis. It's a very understated part of type anatomy. You've actually seen this in use, and the most ubiquitous example is the Google logo. This would be the logo if it was typed out. For the actual logo, they tilted the axis of the E. It makes it feel a little happier, which brings me to the next example. This was the original Heineken logo, but Alfred Heineken wanted it to be friendlier, so it was changed to more rounded letters, and yet again, the axis of the E is tilted back. In this specific logo, they look like little smiley faces from the side. This is random and totally unrelated to type anatomy, but a shameless plug for my love for tennis. Rounded letters actually do feel softer. We can see this in Pentagram's redesign of Tennis Magazine, which was done by Luke Heyman. He altered the masthead to have rounded corners, which conceptually refers to the round nature of a tennis ball. I think this is a nice example of how you can approach type differently. Instead of looking for a rounded typeface, you can use one already and customize it to have the rounded corners that you want. X heights. Let's look at this text. When styling text, I prefer when the typefaces have the same X height. Simple, but it works. Now, let's look at it with a typeface that the X heights don't match. When working with small text, you can increase the readability by using a typeface with a higher X height. The text on the right is easier to read simply because of the X height. Cap heights. I usually use it as a unit of measure when designing websites and mobile apps. Since the space can be anything, I'd like to have some reference to the type around it. I feel like counters are the most common and easiest way to work with type in design. Let's look at some examples of that. Removing the counters of letters was a trend a while ago. I think it was cool for a minute, but like a New York minute. Where you can take advantage of this method is to put text inside of the shape, like we see here. I also did these executions where I knocked out the counters. They don't necessarily serve as a drop cap, but a design element that references the first letter of a section. Sometimes you don't have to remove the counter at all. You can just put text in the counter as it is. However, you'll need to search for a typeface that has big enough counters. Ligatures. You don't have to complicate this any more than it needs to be. In this case, the T and the U were just kerned tightly. This typeface is Paris from Moshik Nadav Typography. He has these beautiful ligatures built into the typeface. To end the segment, and I just want to put this out there, by definition, a ligature is two characters that are merged to form one character. My favorite ligature, or logo, is the Roger Federer logo by Nike. I consider it a ligature, but is it actually? My reasoning is based on how you define the word merged. In the logo, they're using the Gestalt theory of closure to finish the letters. Since the R serves as a stem of the F, I'm saying that they're merged even though they're not physically merged. Comment below what you think. Did anyone catch how many Roger Federer caps I have? Well, to recap, your designs will change when you look at your type a little bit more closely. Start customizing your letters with the different parts that we talked about, use words as graphic elements, and just give a little bit more love to your designs. Make sure to check out some of my other videos on design, and I'll see you in the next video.